ArtSMart started as a result of some research from my thesis, really looking at our school board in general, the Greater Essex Board. So I learned after the research that basically how a teacher feels about art greatly affects how students end up feeling about art. So in the end, the biggest result could be positive if we could support the generalist teachers, especially in our board where there aren't specialists around, and there are very few if there are. And quite often the specialists aren't teaching visual arts. So looking at supporting those generalist teachers, it was important to figure out what do they need.
I feel that teaching art is fearful for many of us teachers that are generalists because many of us don't know how to draw. And so therefore, if you can't draw, you don't do art. And so it's just much easier to kind of let it go. And as we move towards the junior grades, you're teaching forms of art and the design of art, real technical terminology that needs to be applied. It's not just a cut and paste. So that really scares teachers that don't have the experience in the art room.
Really, it's just a matter of making it simple. Making it as simple as possible, and that's where the concept of let us do it for you. I would love to go in everyone's classroom and just teach their art lessons. That would be fantastic, but that's not an opportunity, I thought. Then I really started one day just kind of watching some YouTube tutorials. I needed to know simple things around the house, and I thought, well, let me just check this out. Found a YouTube video and thought, well, we could do that in an art classroom, couldn't we? And so it came about that TLLP was offered, Teacher Learning Leadership Program. And I thought that would be a great opportunity to have some time, afford some time to create some kind of website that would support teachers of the generalist nature. I'm so excited to have a team. It is very important. Yeah, I have been a little fired up about trying to get something going. And to get people on board, the right people, has really meant something to me. It's not just getting help and just getting some support, because it's not help if people aren't on the same page. So the team coming together, what seems kind of that it's happened by chance at the right time, is really valuable to me, that it's the right people offering their own bit in each case. That we've got a newly graduated teacher that's just getting into curriculum. It's a great time to catch the tweener, right? To get them in there and really believing in what we can do in our school system, and really incorporating the background that she's got of visual arts and helping to get some great ideas. You can't stay fresh all the time. More voices, more heads, the better.
My role for the ArtSMart project, I expect to be a contributor. I'm a newly graduated teacher, but I've been an artist all my life. And I hope to take some of the bigger concepts that artists understand and work with and are kind of already part of their tool set and instinctual, and maybe be able to bring it down and simplify it so a generalist teacher could take those same concepts and present to her students.
The role I'm playing within the ArtSMart program is to be the gallery owner in the community, to encourage the kids that what they're creating can be shown in the public space. We're going to organize shows for the students, a collection of their work to show their parents and to the general public who would ever love to come by and see it in a real gallery situation. As a student in grade school myself, I remember the best thing was having a piece of my artwork put up in the hallway. And to actually have their artwork put up in a gallery, it would make their lives.
My involvement with ArtSMart began with a conversation with Lisa Galvin, and she asked if I would join her team as she was looking for some more support. And what she was looking for specifically was the eyes of the generalist teacher, and that's who I am. When I was in a classroom, I wasn't entirely comfortable teaching art. I wasn't really familiar with the techniques. And my response to her was, "But Lisa, I don't know anything about art." And she said, "That's why I need you." What I can add to the team is my knowledge of research-based strategies, such as modeling, such as feedback, such as the importance of collaboration and activating prior knowledge. All of those strategies I can bring to the table. I also can bring some knowledge of cross-curricular expectations.
To fine-tune it and get it to the board level, make it the quality it needed to be. That group of teachers could tell me a lot about what was successful, what changes they would appreciate, and that's when cross-curricular came in, the idea of having lessons that weren't just segmented and separate, because as you know, it's very difficult to teach all of the expectations and art. So the idea of cross-curricular was there, and also the concept of more video, less slideshow, or even coaching just through conversation was more helpful than just point forms. So really kind of like the new art curriculum, those prompts, what can you say, what would it sound like? Teachers were really feeling like I can download lessons from anywhere or find them in books, but I have to interpret that, and that's the struggle. What do some of those words mean, and how do I put it all together and make it cross-curricular? So this was an opportunity to put it all together for them. In other words, let us do it for you.
Well, I guess the big thing is trying to incorporate as much of the curriculum across different subject areas, with the curriculum being so demanding and so many different things that you have to touch. You can't teach them all in isolation. You do have to try to, as much as you can, combine. Using the ArtSMart website, I found it very beneficial. It was very step-by-step. It set the lesson clearly out, what the expectations were going to be, how it was going to meet them, exactly what you were supposed to do step by step. So it wasn't like I went there and said, oh, I can't do this lesson, how can I do this? So it was very easy to follow, and I liked the fact that it did as well take into the fact cross-curricular activities, incorporating the math into it with the patterns and things like that. So it wasn't just an art lesson by itself that it was focusing on, it was also including the science, using the animals as the main theme on the page, and as well incorporating the math and patterns ideas as well with it.
Connecting science, social studies, language arts, math, any other curriculum to art, really you're killing two birds with one stone. And that is what we want as teachers. We want to be able to integrate as much as we possibly can. It makes assessment much easier, and it really helps our students to understand everything that we want to instill in them in terms of curriculum expectations.
So what I often do is before the lesson, I'll take some time to review the video, look for maybe different stages of the video that I would like to stop, go through, highlight with my students, and then I'll take the opportunity to, as we're doing the lesson, we'll go over it together, and we'll watch the video together. So, and I'll already know those certain parts that I want to stop and highlight with them, and that's always helpful.
It's that whole opportunity for someone to take from it what they need. I don't feel that we have to give everybody everything all the time. It's a matter of, you know, I might be a generalist teacher, but I've got some background in using markers and colored pencil. You don't need to tell me those skills. So if a video includes some of those basic techniques that a teacher doesn't need, they can skip right past that. They can choose to watch the video on their own at home and then make the art along with the videos and then bring that in, teach to what they've experienced. A person could definitely bring the smartboard into their classroom, watch with students, pause, do think aloud. You know, I wonder if, you know, if this is something we did in our classroom, how would this play out? You know, really taking from it what applies to their group.
During this process, I use the video for many purposes. One, as an opportunity to see what was involved in the instruction. It gave me an opportunity to see what it was that we were going to do. It gave the students an opportunity to hear and see what we were going to be doing. I stopped and would go back and reference the video many times. Even late night at home when I'm planning, I'm sitting on my bed with my laptop, pausing and stopping that video to pick up some of those strategies that the instructor used in the video. So if I could have videos for everything, that would be fantastic. But I know that that's not possible. So the most important thing is whenever I have to venture off into an area that I'm not comfortable, it's really great to have these instructional videos to refer to.
I think it'll really help a generalist teacher use it for assessment. Because generally, if you don't have a fine arts background, you might approach a piece of work as in, is this realistic? Am I impressed by this? Whereas if they've used the resource and they are able to break it down and understand that what they're looking for is small little pieces, elements and principles, and process, then they can feel more confident in assessing those small little pieces that work towards a final project and not necessarily the final image that they got.
I think it's important just to get rid of all the frills. I really think that we've set up ArtSMart now to be as simple as possible, that there's not a lot of fluff on the site at all. There's no big pretty pictures all over the place. It's just, here's ArtSMart, here's primary, junior, intermediate. First thing you're going to see is assessment, elements of design. Click what you're looking for. If I'm looking for a line lesson, boom, they're right there. You're always going to go to assessment first because I feel it's the missing link for a lot of teachers. They don't know how to assess art. Everybody's tried hard, they've put in a good effort, and they've followed instructions. Great, you get an A, a level 4. Really looking at the process is important. And so there's 2 videos there really talking about those aspects. Assessment in general for those tweener teachers that are just starting out, and then assessment techniques for visual arts. Below that, sheets and scads of different assessment tools to use. So we've got rubrics and surveys and checklists and portfolio tracking sheets and anecdotal comment sections. And it's really an opportunity to have a wide variety, definitely supporting and offering feedback for students to really develop their skills in art.
So I guess my biggest goal for ArtSMart is it continues to go on like that, being cross-curricular, not just being exclusive to art, but also incorporating other areas of the curriculum into it as well.
Not only am I benefiting from the instructional videos, but the students definitely are benefiting from the instructional videos. So it's not necessarily a teacher tool, but it can be a classroom tool.